What if a modern jetliner, just seconds into flight, lost both engines? Not from fire or failure, but from two cockpit switches. That's what investigators believe happened during the final 32 seconds of Air India Flight 171. It was June 12, 2025. A Boeing 787 took off from Ahmedabad bound for London. But less than a minute later, it crashed into a college hostel, killing 241 people on board and 19 more on the ground. Only one person survived. Within moments of takeoff, both engines lost power. What caused it? According to the preliminary report, the fuel control switches for both engines were moved from run to cutoff, just 1 second apart. These are spring-loaded switches mounted on the center console. To operate them, a pilot must pull the switch outward, move it to the desired position, and then release it. This design prevents accidental movement. These switches are not designed to move on their own. Moving a switch to cutoff shuts off fuel instantly, stopping engine combustion. In normal operation, these switches are only used during ground-based startup or shutdown, never during flight. Cockpit voice recordings captured confusion. One pilot reportedly asked the other, "Why did you cut the fuel?" The reply, "I didn't." The investigation has not yet determined how or why the switches were moved. That part remains under review. Roughly 10 seconds later, the switches were flipped back to run, initiating the Boeing 787's automatic engine relight sequence. This involves fuel reintroduction, ignition, and turbine spool-up, all controlled by the aircraft's FADEC system. But restarting from complete shutdown takes time, about 20 to 30 seconds in ideal conditions. And this plane was at just 625 feet of altitude. There simply wasn't enough time or height to recover. Engine parameters showed relight had begun, but before power could be restored, the aircraft descended rapidly and crashed, just 32 seconds after takeoff. A previous FAA advisory had warned airlines about potential issues with the locking mechanisms on these switches. But since inspections weren't mandatory, Air India hadn't carried them out. The findings so far raise serious questions. Why were both switches moved seconds after takeoff? Was it mechanical, human error? The final report will have to answer that. Until then, all we know is this. In less than a minute, a sequence involving two small switches, designed never to be touched midair, led to one of the deadliest aviation tragedies in India's history.